Hello, welcome back to Reads of an Apple. My name is Stacy, and I'm here to talk about the books that I would like to read in February. There's a lot. There's a lot going on. I have a lot of different reading challenges, and there are readathons popping up all over the place. And the completionist in me wants to do them all, but I know that that's not possible. But I might try to do one or two, or at least read one book to apply to different ones. But anyway, let's just get into it because there is a lot going on. So, first off, SJM-along. We are almost all the way through. I don't know what I'm going to be doing without having such wonderful books once a month to discuss. Right now I've got 2 different book clubs that are like that with such amazing discussions, and after March it'll go down to 1, so I don't know what I'm going to do with myself after that. But February's SJM-along book is A Court of Silver Flames, the 4th book in ACOTAR. This book is going to wreck me. I have picked up on a lot of hints about things that Nesta is dealing with depression, with familial issues. I thought House of Earth and Blood broke me, but I have a feeling that this book is going to obliterate me, and I'm very excited and not ready for it. And yes, I did get the gorgeous paperback edition that is black and silver. I have all of them in paperback, and I wish I had a gorgeous cover like the first 3 books. But that's okay. I'll take this one because gray and silver are my favorite colors, and I think this is a lot better than the weird orange one. But I'm very, very excited to read this, but also apprehensive. So yeah, but it'll be good. I know it'll be good. Yeah, mixed feelings for my baby. Okay, then the other book club I'm super excited for is the continuation of the Ilona Andrews, and more specifically the Innkeeper Chronicles read-along, and this month is book 2 in the series, which is Sweep in Peace. This one is a lot chunkier than book 1. This one is about 300 pages, so we've got almost double the pages in this one. And I'm excited to get back into this weird, fun amalgamation of sci-fi, fantasy, and paranormal. It's Ilona Andrews, so I know I'm going to love it. And I'm very excited to see what's happening. Plus, look at this gorgeous cover. And I think the back is gorgeous too. And I can't wait to see what Dina is going to get up to next. And what Sean's been up to. And this is also available as a graphic audio, so I most likely will be reading this copy along with listening to the graphic audio because that was so much fun. I love doing it with the first few ACOTAR books, but the Sweep in Peace one was amazing. Plus, I was super surprised that the first book in this series is probably the funniest Ilona Andrews book I have ever read. So I am excited to have more of that humor here. And I know it's just going to be amazing and feel good and all of the best things, just in a different way than the Sarah J. Maas book. But these 2 books I am probably the most excited to read in February. And the live show for this, they said, was either going to be February 17th or the 24th. So either the last Friday or the second to last Friday in the month. As far as I know, as of when I'm recording this, it has not been decided yet. Then other read-alongs I'm participating in, I am going to try to pick up the next 2 books in the ABCs of Love read-along. This is a multi-author series, and this one Each book is based off a letter of the alphabet. So this month we are doing C and D. The live show, I believe, is the 25th of February. And this will be Comfort, which is by Megan Matthews, and Delectable, which is by Emily Robertson. Now, she sounds familiar to me, but I haven't looked to see if I've actually read her or not. But I mean, I'm interested to see. The first two books weren't really my jam, but I'm hoping that we'll find at least a couple gems out of this series. I mean, out of a 26 book series, there's got to be at least a couple that I like, right? It's just the odds. So I'm going to continue trying to plug away at them, and we'll see what happens. This one isn't as quite of a high as a priority as the other two books I've mentioned, but I am hoping to continue the read along this month. Also, the next live show for the Vampire Academy readathon will be I believe she said, they said the 28th on the live show. I don't know what books we're reading, though. We read the first 3 books in January, so I'm assuming we're reading the last 3 books. So 4, 5, and 6. So that's Blood Promise, Spirit Bound, and Last Sacrifice, I'm assuming. But I'll have to keep an eye out for when they do the Instagram announcement of what books we're actually reading. But last time it didn't take me very long because they are YA, and I'm intrigued to see, because book 3 definitely got me hooked into the series. So I'm interested, and a lot of people in the live show were saying that book 4 is their favorite of the series. So we'll see. I'm excited. So we'll see what happens. But definitely check out the Instagrams and all that information to see exactly what books we are picking up. Now that is it for Readalongs. Let me touch base on reading challenges next, and then we'll talk about readathons. So, reading challenges. I am participating in Winter's Kiss, which is by Shelby Taggart Reads on Instagram. She does 3-month challenges based around the seasons. I currently have 4, I think, prompts left to complete the second bingo board. So my goal will be throughout February. We end February 28th. So come March, we'll get the spring reading challenge for the next 3 months, but I'm hoping to at least finish bingo board number 2. I'm not going to press to finish bingo board 3 unless we get close to the end of the month and I just need a couple more prompts, but we'll kind of see what happens. I'm just going to tentatively apply books to bingo board 3 if need be, depending on how close I am to completing it as we get towards the end of the month. But my goal is to at least finish the second bingo board so I can complete 2 out of the 3. This is also the second month of the New to You Author Challenge by Bookcase and Coffee. They also have the romance podcast, Buzzing About Romance. The minimum to participate in the challenge is to read 2 new to you authors a month, and this is running January, February, March, so we have till the end of March. But they're doing giveaways and prize packs for each month, so if you would like to participate, they have, I'll have their website linked down below, and you can just kind of check out all the information and see the submission form and all that. But like I said, minimum of 2 new to you authors, which is super easy for me to hit. It's also the second month of the Read What You Own challenge. I don't remember what I set my goal at, but I'm just going to keep kind of doing what I can and applying the books that I'm reading to it. And for the most part, I'm doing pretty good in reading a lot of books that I either currently own or are only available through the library. So that's been really good. I'm also currently participating in the Starbucks quarterly challenge on the Romance Readers Reading Challenges group on Goodreads, and that will run through, I believe, March 14th. It's the middle of March, and I only have 3 prompts left for that, so I should be able to finish that this month, but if not, I can finish at the beginning of March, but hopefully sooner rather than later. And then I am doing 2 year-long reading challenges. I am participating in Romanceopoly and working my way through that. And then I'm also participating in Guildathon. So those are just both ongoing yearly challenges, and I'm not going to really worry about buckling down on those until we get later on in the year and I can kind of see how things are situated. And then the final reading challenge I'm participating also from the Romance Readers Reading Challenges group is the Yahtzee challenge. So this started in March of 2022, and the last month is going to be March of 2023. And each month we roll our 5 dice like we're playing Yahtzee, and whatever goal we end up completing is a prompt that we have to pick for the month. Now, looking at what I have going on, I only have 2 goals left. The Yahtzee option and 4s. So we're gonna kind of be sucked into either of those. However, if I don't roll either of those with my 3 rolls with Yahtzee, they do have an alternative prompt that is posted. So let me just kind of get them pulled up here, and then I can go from there. So I pulled my little dice tray out so I can roll things easier. So let me snap it together real quick because I was not thinking to prep this beforehand. But if you're interested, the Romance Readers Reading Challenges group has a lot of different monthly challenges, quarterly challenges, random challenges that they constantly have going on. I usually try to participate in the quarterly challenges and then some of the other ones, but when they announced the Yahtzee one last year, I was like, oh, that's fun. And it was nice because you only needed to complete 1 book a month, so it was a very simple addition where if any of the books I already planned on my TBR wouldn't meet, it's a lot easier to just pick up 1 extra book versus more than that. So all right, I got my little dice tray put together here. So let us get to it. So I'm hoping for Yahtzees or 4s, or hey, heck, let's do a Yahtzee of 4s. 4 is my lucky number. So let us roll. What do we got? Well. I guess we're trying for a Yahtzee because I got 3 5s and a 1 and a 2. So let me just jot that down because I like to keep track of my rolls. What did I do with my pen? Hello. Oh my gosh, I swear, some days I think I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached to me. You know? Have you ever had those days? Here we go. I stacked my books on top of it because why else? Why not? Why not? Okay. So 1, 2, 5, 5, 5. So we're going for a Yahtzee. So let's see. 5, 5. We're gonna re-roll the 1 and the 2. So I will remove my 3 5s. Let's see. Good luck, good luck, good luck. A 4 and a 3. So nope. And to qualify for the 4s, you need at least 3, which I'm a little kind of disappointed in. But oh my gosh, I just dropped my dice. But we have a 5. We have, let's see if I can do it. So, oh, nope, it rolled. It was a 5. I swear it was a 5, but I dropped the other dice. And I don't see it now. I don't know where it went. I dropped I lost it, guys. I lost it. I don't know what happened. So I'm going to re-roll one of the other ones that are sitting here. Okay. And it's a 2. Oh, we were so close. So close. So that means so I can either choose to use the alternate prompt to cover the Yahtzee or the 4s. I mean, it'd be fun to go for the Yahtzee, but this isn't real Yahtzee where the price or the points difference makes up for it. So I'm just going to apply it to the Yahtzee because I doubt I'll be getting a Yahtzee, but watch, now I'll get a Yahtzee. But that's okay. So I'm going to put the February is under the Yahtzee, but it's the alternate choice. So let me pull up, I have it pulled up. So let me scroll to see what the alternate prompt is. They're giving a different one for each month. So February's is read a book by an author you love, or a story with a character who finds love, or a book with pink on the cover. If that is not the easiest prompt to hint, this is for romance readers. And one of the 3 options is a story with a character who finds love. So that's super easy and okay. And it might as well just be the Yahtzee. The Yahtzee prompt is any book that you want to read. And a character that finds love with pretty much any of the books that I'm going to read. So it works out. It works out. I'm happy. Okay, so there is the Yahtzee challenge. Now, let me switch to the back of my book here. So, as for Readathons, welcome back to February and welcome back to FaRoFeb. I'm so excited. This is the 3rd year of FaRoFeb. I have participated the previous 2 years. I love it. I love fantasy. I love fantasy romance. And I'm here for FaRoFeb. Now, technically, according to their graphics, FaRoFeb this year is not the entire month of February. It is February 1st through the 14th. And the first week they're doing panels and recs and all these other different activities. But the actual readathon week is like the 7th through the 14th or something like that. But I don't care. I'm gonna give myself all month long to read fantasy and focus on reading fantasy. I will try to at least hit at least one book of my other main subgenres so I don't get too far behind in that. So I will be picking up a historical at some point, and hopefully it's 4 more stars, and contemporary, and I already have some paranormal books on my list. What am I missing in sci-fi? Although Clean Sweep is sci-fi, so we're good there. So historical and contemporary are like the only other one I really need to pick up. So I will be focusing on reading fantasy all month long, whether it's officially all month or not, because it is FaRoFeb, Fantasy Romance February, and I'm sticking to it. But here's the bingo board that they released for this year, and the prompts are only one bed, a main character with horns, fated mates, a strong heroine, friends to lovers, hidden society, forbidden love, sexy goblins, vampires, dragons, grumpy sunshine, and enemies to lovers. Now, the only one I'm kind of on is vampires, because vampires to me 9 times out of 10 are paranormal and not fantasy. And I know there is some lines and some genre boundaries crossed when it comes to paranormal and fantasy at times, or even urban fantasy stuff. So I'll make it work, but I've got Sweep and Peace, which is a sci-fi fantasy, and there's vampires in that, so that will probably cover that. And that is this one, so there are vampires in this. Let me just kind of look, because I have some notes. So for FaRoFeb. What I plan is I would like to do a vlog for the month, but I didn't want to do all of FaRoFeb. So what I plan on doing is I have some ideas for books specific to the prompts on the bingo board, and I'm going to do a spinner wheel, and I'm going to do 4 or 5. Let me know how many books you'd like to see me discuss in it down below. Just kind of give me an idea of what you guys would want to watch. But I'm going to do a spinner wheel, and I'm going to do all new to me fantasy authors, and a lot of them have been on my list for a long time on previous FaRoFebs that I just haven't had the chance to get to. So right now I will tell you what my list is currently at, and I'll probably end up reading all of these at some point anyway during the month, but I might not do they might not be on the dedicated vlog. But so what I have right now is I have notes, and I keep putting my notes under the books over here. Okay, so we have The Goblin King by Shona Husk. This is the first book in her Shadowland series, and this would work for sexy goblins. Then I have Children of Blood and Bone by TOMI ADEYEMI. I hope I said her name right. This is the first book in her Legacy of Orisha series. This would work at the very least perfect for strong heroine. This is a fantasy romance that I heard on a random podcast that showed up on my Spotify. I don't remember who it was, but they were talking about it, and I was like, that sounds really cool. But it is by a Black author, and it is a Black heroine, and I guess there is a lot of pulls from like African mythology and African spiritualism and cultural aspects, and I don't know where specifically in Africa, but it sounded super cool. So I really want to read that this month. I'm very much a firm believer that you should read diversely all year, but I definitely wanted to pick up at least a couple fantasy romances by Black authors to celebrate Black History Month as well. But I will read diversely all year round. But that one is like #1 on my list because it sounds so cool. Then I have The Secret Goddess by MJ Feraldo. I got this book for free a couple years ago. I have been wanting to read it. This would work for the Hidden Society prompt. This is the first book in her Goddess series, and this sounds so cool. We've got hidden societies. There's mythos retellings or mythos stuff coming into it, kind of archaeology stuff as well, and it sounds super cool, and I still haven't read it. Nisha J. Tolley is another author that I have been following her newsletters for, and she has released a couple of books recently, but I'm leaning towards picking up To Wake a Kingdom. This is a fantasy romance retelling of Sleeping Beauty, but when she gets put to sleep, it's not just her that falls asleep, but like her entire kingdom. So I'm intrigued. Color me intrigued. Then and that would work for Grumpy Sunshine. That one is actually a reverse Grumpy Sunshine. So the Grumpy is the heroine. Then for Enemies to Lovers, I have seen Daughter of No Words been going around. This is the first book in Carissa Broadbent's The War of Lost Hearts series going around. Crystal loved it. Jessen loves it. It has a gorgeous cover. I'm definitely intrigued, and I don't usually jump on the hyped books, but because it's FaRoFeb and it's kind of going around, and people who I trust their opinion on fantasy romance very highly, like I highly regard their opinions, I want to pick it up because every once in a while it's fun to join the hype on a book. And those are the ones as of now I have planned to put on the spinner wheel. The things might change slightly, but all of those should at least make the spinner wheel. Now, Other fantasy romances I would like to pick up is I would like to finally pick up Between Wrath and Mercy by Jess Wisecup. I saw this advertised last FaRoFeb, and then Jenn from the Book Refuge read it and has been touting it. The second book just came out. This book just came out on audio. So I'm hoping to pick this up during FaRoFeb as well. And then there are a couple series that I have been really wanting to reread lately. One of them is the Dragonkin series. Book 1 is Dragon Actually by G.A. Aiken. She also writes as Shelley Lawrenston, but those are more paranormal, and G.A. Aiken is her fantasy books. And I've read this entire series. However, she's been releasing the Scarred Earth Saga. The third book just came out in that, and that is in the same universe or a spin-off or somehow dealing with the Dragonkin series. And I've been wanting to read it, but I wanted to reread Dragonkin first, and I've been wanting to reread it forever. And with the dragon prompt on this, I want to at least try to pick up the first book because I love this series. It is one of my favorite dragon series, and I want to reread it. And then the other series I would like to reread partially is Carolyn Sparks' Embraced / Embraced by Magic series. Now, the first 3 books were traditionally published through St. Martin's, and then she switched to publishers. So the other books are more trade paperback size, and they have completely different artwork. And then the series name changed to Embraced by Magic. But I have, ever since this book came out, every time a new book comes out, I reread the entire series and then I read the new one. And I may have talked about this before, but book 5 came out, which was at the time, from my understanding, the final book in the series. And I never reread the series, and I never read book 5 because I didn't want it to end. This is one of my favorite fantasy romance series. it is just so cozy, and I love it, and I adore it, and I love this series to pieces. But surprisingly, last year, a book 6 came out, and I believe book 6 is actually the daughter of the couple from this book. This is the first book in the series, and I was like, what? So now I don't feel as bad reading book 5 because then technically the book series isn't finished. I'm just saying. But I don't know if book 6 is the last book, so I kind of want to edge that one now too. But I want to reread these. I did see that at least the first few books of these are available on my Hoopla, so I might try them in audio. I've read them so much physically that it'll be interesting to try it in audio, but who knows? I may or may not pick them up in audio, but I definitely want to at least start my reread of this series because it's just so good, and I love it to pieces. And then the other fantasy author that I'll touch base on one later, but I really, really, really want to read for FaRoFeb, and I have been meaning to pick these books up, and I still have not picked them up. First off is The Ugly Stepsister by Megan Van Dyke. This is the second book in her Reimagined Fairy Tales series. Book 3 and 4 are coming out this year, and I am super, super hyped for them. I want everybody to read Megan Van Dyke. I have been touting her and recommending her to so many booktubers and bookstagrammers over the past couple weeks because I want more people to read her, especially during FaRoFeb. I love them. But this one is a Cinderella and Huntsman from Snow White mashup, and I've been wanting to read this. I have the artwork, I have the signed book plates, I have all the swag pack, and I actually pre-ordered a signed copy of this because I love Megan Van Dyke so much, and oh my gosh, I bent my book cover. But yeah, I really, really, really want to read this and get caught up. The first book in the series, Second Star to the Left, was her debut book last year, so she is the new author, and she writes fantasy romance, and I need to read this book in February. And then I was going to read it for the KU Readathon, but I did not. But I need to pick up A Bargain with the Fae King, also by Megan Van Dyke. This is the first book in her Courts of Fairy series, and the second book comes out the end of January, so tomorrow when I'm recording this, and I have an ARC for it because I want to give away from her, and so I was able to pick a free book, and I was like, well, I own everything except the one that's not out yet. So I still need to read the ARC and get that all submitted and I'd like to get my review up for that. So I definitely want to read this and the second book, and I will be ordering a paperback of the second book because I have all of her books so far in paperback. And yeah, I need to get caught up in Megan Van Dyke. Plus, this year she's starting a new series, a new Fae series, and I'm just like, there's not really very many teasers about it, and I'm very excited. So I need to get caught up in Megan Van Dyke for sure. But yeah, those are my FaRoFeb hopes and plans and wishes. As for other readathons going on, I'm also hoping to participate in the Romantasy readathon. This runs from February 12th to February 18th, and this is a fantasy romance readathon. So I don't know if they knew about FaRoFeb or not, but I'm like, sure, I'll double down. And they have teams. There's a couple different teams. I'll link their Instagram down below. And I was looking at the prompts, and I'm going to choose to join the Monster Lovers team. And there are the three prompts for that are a book with a supernatural character, takes place in a different world / planet, and a book with forced proximity. And you can earn points for reading a book that fills one of those prompts. Then there is an activity prompt for Monster Lovers. It's share a pic of your favorite reading spot. And then you can also get bonus points. So you can get bonus points for reading the group book, and the group book will also count for one of the other prompts. And you can also get bonus points if you read a book over 500 pages. So I plan on, for the first prompt, a book with a supernatural character. I plan on picking up Griffin Undone by Ella Sheridan. This is the first book in her Archive Warriors. This was on one of my anticipated releases videos of last year. This is a fantasy paranormal shifter romance where he is a griffin shifter. This series is all going to be about mythological creature shifters, and I've already kind of seen a teaser for book 2, and that one's gonna have a phoenix. So I'm very excited. I've never read Ella Sheridan before, and I'm very intrigued by just the premise of this series. So that will take care of the first prompt. For the second prompt, takes place in a different world or planet. I plan on picking up A Court of Silver Flames during this week, because this will also give me bonus points for over 500 pages, and it takes place in a different world or planet. So I thought this would be a good way to double down on a bunch of prompts, and so I'm planning on reading this book between February 12th and 18th for also Romantasy-thon. And then the third prompt, Forced Proximity, the group book actually covers that prompt, and that is A Court of Ravens and Ruin. And this is it is the first book in the Shadowbound Queen series. And I did not write down who the author was. It's a new to me author, but her name is on the cover here, so you can see who it's by. So yeah, there is that. There's a couple of Black Love and Black Romance and Blackathon. There's a couple of different readathons along those veins. I haven't looked at any of the bingo boards yet because there's just been so much going on, because I'm still kind of working on putting together furniture and getting things unpacked and decorated and settled at my new place. But I am hoping to at least pick up a couple books and join the community. I also saw that there's going to be a novella-thon that's like the week before the Romantasy-thon or the week after the Romantasy-thon or leading up to Valentine's Day or something. So there are so many readathons going on, and I don't know if I'm going to 100% participate in it, but it's novellas, so it's easily done. So I might try to pick up 1 or 2 books. I know that there is a prequel novella to this series that's available in a couple different anthologies, but I also got it free from being on Megan Van Dyke's newsletter. So I could pick up that. That's a novella that's also fantasy romance, but I also still need to read the last 2 novellas in the Assassin's Blade. So that is The Assassin in the Underworld and The Assassin in the Empire. So I might also try to pick those up. I mean, they're not quite as romancy, but they work. I mean, I know we're still kind of dealing with Sam in this one, so I might try to pick those up and count that to the novellathon, but I might not do the bingo board. I might just try to read a couple fantasy novellas during that week and just participate or something, but we'll see. Like I said, there is a lot going on. I'm hoping there'll be a lot of different reading sprints going on, and I'm planning on drowning myself in fantasy romance and enjoying the heck out of being drowned by it. So yeah, there's that. There is my chaotic and very long TBR and wishes of books I would like to read in February. But let's be honest, at heart, I'm a mood reader, so I could only read half of these and then pick up a whole slew of books that I didn't even know exist when I'm filming this. So that's one thing I both love and hate about readathons is I take so many screenshots of what other people are reading and add so many more books to my TBR than what I read. I was looking at my screenshots today. I have over 500 screenshots of my phone. Now, not all of them are books. Probably 30 of them are cooking recipes, but the rest are books. New releases, recs from other people, readathon books other people were reading. I can't tell you how many screenshots I took during the KU readathon. I'm glad I'm getting into audiobooks, but sometimes what I want doesn't have an audiobook, and then I get sad. But yeah, I'll stop rambling at you because this video is already long enough, but thank you so much for watching. If you are joining in any of these readathons or have any other plans or you're excited for any of these, hold that thought. Hold that freaking thought. I forgot one thing that I need to talk about. New releases for February. Now, I do have a Q1 new releases video. I'll link it up there if you have not seen it. But I have 2 books that I will be picking up as close as I can to release. And one of them actually works perfectly. So the first is Black Hellebore by Grace Draven. My thoughts go with Grace Draven. It was just recently announced that she has cervical cancer, and my heart breaks for her, and I know that she's kind of been struggling to write anyway, but even more so with her health now coming into play. So if you can, I mean, don't feel the need to. She has a GoFundMe set up. I think her editor or somebody set it up, but she is the main breadwinner in her family for her writing, and with all of her cancer treatment going on, she also has some special needs children that she takes care of. And yeah, she's having a family member who's going to come in and kind of act as a caretaker, and so some of the money will also kind of help subset like the car insurance and stuff, because that person is taking a leave of absence or something from their job. So I mean, there's a lot going on. You can check out the GoFundMe, but I love Grace Draven. She's one of my favorite fantasy authors. I always try to at least read one of her books that I have not read during FaRoFeb, but at the very least I will be picking up Black Hellebore. This is book 3.5 in the Wraith Kings, and when she announced it a couple months ago, it is supposed to be giving us some hints and some clues on what is going to be happening in the No Mask King, which is book 4. who knows when it's coming, but I am very, very excited. And we're going back to Brishan and Ildiko. And this comes out on Valentine's Day. And it's a novella. So, hey. That works. And then the other new release I'm very, very, very excited for is Never Seduce a Duke by Vivian Lorette. This is the 5th book in the Mating Habits of Scoundrels. And I'm guessing the last book because this is the last friend in the friend group. Oh, but Vivian Lorette is one of my favorite modern historical romance authors. I love this series. And I'm so intrigued to see what's happening in Meg's book after the teaser we got in the epilogue of book 4. So yeah, this comes out at the end of February, so I don't know if I'll read it in February, but at the very least, I'll be picking it up as soon as I can to release date. But okay. Back to what I was saying before. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you're excited to read in February, and if you're participating in any of these readathons, reading challenges, events that are going on. If you would like to leave me an emoji instead, leave me something fantasy based, but otherwise, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you all with another video very soon.